to Reviews and Rankings with Robbie Sobel. Today I'm going to take a look at the 2020 Hulu original film, Clive Barker's The Books of Blood. Alright guys, so The Books of Blood is a 2020 film, and it's directed by Brannon Braga, and it stars Britt Robertson, Nicholas Campbell, Rafi Graven, and Anna Friel. So The Books of Blood were originally a collection of short stories written by Clive Barker back in the 1980s. Several of his stories ended up being adapted into feature films, most notably Candyman, The Lord of Illusions, and The Midnight Meat Train. The way The Books of Blood is structured is that you have a wraparound story that follows a man named Simon McNeil, who originally claimed to have the dead speak through him by several scars on his entire body. But he was just kind of BSing everybody until the dead took him up on his offer and literally infected him with all of these scars and pretty much tortured him the rest of his life. That wraparound story was given its own film in 2009 with the film title Book of Blood. That film was pretty stellar, but now in the 2020 updated version, we get an anthology film. Simon McNeil's story is placed within the 2020 story, but we also have two new stories that wrap and intertwine in it. In this new version of Books of Blood, we do follow Simon's story, but it's just one of three, and his story is intercut between the other two within this anthology. The remaining two stories are brand new to the film and were written specifically for it, so you're not going to find them in Clive Barker's short stories. One of the stories follows a man who's hunting down Simon looking for the Book of Blood in question, and the other follows a young girl named Jenna, who seems to have been struggling with her mental health for quite some time since she's not taking her medication and she's beginning to see these visuals, but she's not really sure what they are. Her parents are no help to her. They're incredibly obnoxious. They're living within their wealth and they only seem to care about what's on the surface and not their daughter. Jenna then runs away from home and ends up staying at a B&B where she stays with this nice couple that seems to really care for her and the people that are staying there. She makes friends with another young man and makes plans to meet up with him. However, while she's waiting for this young guy to hang out with her, he ends up not showing up and she gets spooked out by a bunch of visuals that she sees. She runs back to the house, and I'm going to cut off any spoilers going from there. In these videos, you'll see that I'll kind of give you a little bit of bait, but I'm not going to reel you in totally as far as story goes. When I heard that The Books of Blood was getting another adaptation, I was pretty stoked about it. I'm a big Clive Barker fan. Whether it's Hellraiser or Candyman, Lord of Illusions or Nightbreed or The Midnight Meat Train, I am into what Clive Barker puts out. He's a very unique author, and he creates this universe that very few have done before or since. I actually even had a chance to meet Clive Barker last year in Tampa, Florida at the Spooky Empire Horror Convention. And even with Clive Barker not being in the best of health, he put on like a happy face. He talked and chatted a bit. I even had a chance to show him my Hellraiser tattoo and got a good picture with him. So that just made my interest in him as a horror creator and an author and an artist even more prominent. As far as the 2020 film goes, I was entertained by it. From start to finish, I was fully engaged with what was going on screen. I never felt myself distracted or uninterested. So from the beginning to the end, Books of Blood had my attention. While Britt Robertson gave the best performance of the film, all the other actors did a really nice job. They were able to convey their characters onto the screen, and there was never a moment where I was cringing at any bad performances or bad acting. While the segment that followed Jenna was my personal favorite, I have to put extra special focus on the segment that followed the story of Simon McNeil and how his body actually became the Book of Blood. With a movie called Books of Blood, the audience is going to expect a certain level of blood, gore, scary moments, and tension. And while this entire film doesn't deliver maybe to the expectations of some, it did for me. The tension was on point, the directing and the atmosphere was solid, and the special effects and practical effects that were used did enough to get me engaged in the film, and I was impressed. Unfortunately, while I'm impressed, it doesn't seem like a lot of people are. The current critic score on Rotten Tomatoes right now for this film is only 24%, and the audience score is not much better at 38%. Those are both really, really low scores, and this movie deserves better. So while Books of Blood might not end up in my top 5 horror movies of the year, it's definitely not going to end up at the bottom of the list. Considering that it's October and Halloween is just a couple of weeks away, I'd highly recommend that you check out this film, especially if you have Hulu. It's got tension, it's got atmosphere, and it's got some good blood, guts, and gore, and it's not going to end up wasting your time. For me, Clive Barker's Books of Blood for 2020 is a solid 3.5 out of 5-star rating. All right, guys, did you like Clive Barker's Books of Blood? Have you had a chance to check it out? If you have, leave your comments below and I'll hit back at you. And if not, definitely check out the film. In the meantime, you can like this video, hit subscribe so you can get updates on everything that I pump out on this channel in the days, weeks, and months to come. And always remember, keep watching those movies.